Hey guys. Happy election eve. It is Monday, November 3rd, a little after 6 p.m., and we are closing up our local leadership spotlight series, something that started a little over a week ago with a couple of folks getting together and having an idea of turning a spotlight that had been on our congressional race on the tremendous talent and one of the most important elections in that we participate in on an annual basis on a every whenever we can. It's our local races, and we've met folks from Mount Pleasant to Sleepy Hollow all across the district over the course of the past 6-7 days, and I so appreciate so many of you tuning in. Each of our videos across platforms, amazingly to me, have gotten hundreds of views already by folks, thanks to, I know, from messages from many of you, not only folks who are regularly tuning in, but who are newly tuning in and who really want to understand not only the issues their communities are facing, but the issues that we're facing as a broader community across New York 17. Again, it's my privilege to be able to speak to so many of our candidates and get to know them. And a couple of observations, and I'll share more tomorrow and more on that in a second, is just that have really surprised me is just the sheer talent that we have. Folks who are our neighbors who really want to give back and are bringing tremendous capabilities to bringing good government back to local government. And it is such a pleasure for me to get to close our little mini series here with a spotlight on my hometown, my town here. We're going to be meeting with Ellen Calves, Stephanie McCaine, Midge Iorio, who are all up for election or re-election this year in the amazing, wonderful town of Bedford. And I would love to start our conversation today by bringing up Ellen. Ellen is running to be reelected as town supervisor with a vision for Bedford and the skills and experience to bring this vision to life. She's always been about community building, and her vision for Bedford is rooted in a strong belief that communities are better when people come together and make decisions that are good for everyone. From her early years as a community organizer and environmental attorney to her working at Bedford 2030 to organize her neighbors, government, and organizations around healthy, clean, resilient initiatives, to serving on the Bedford Town Board, and now as supervisor, Ellen has been deeply involved with community members to drive progress. She has made Bedford an environmental leader in the state. She collaborates with the chamber and business associations and civic groups to seize opportunities to make our hamlets hubs of community, cultural, and economic activity, getting grants from the state to really revitalize our downtown areas. And through prudent financial management, she's helped the town maintain its AAA bond rating and keeps taxes under the tax cap. She's investing in investing in walkability and recreation. She supported the final acquisition of Buxton Gorge, Rayburn Preserve, and the improvement and expansion of sidewalks in the hamlets. It was very difficult to summarize her resume in a few points here, but most of all, she's one of my father-in-law's favorite people and many of ours in the community, just because of how transparent she makes our local government through her robust weekly newsletters, really simplifying down what our local government is thinking about to make it as accessible as possible for as many members of our community as possible. And it is my pleasure to welcome up Ellen Calves. Ellen, how are you?
Kevin, thank you. Thank you for that very nice introduction.
Of course, I get to do like one, so I might as well
Thank
make it
you.
count. And
Thank you.
it's so well earned. And so you've been supervisor now for how long?
For almost 4 years, and I
Oh my
am
gosh.
so thrilled to be on the ballot again tomorrow to keep doing this job. I love this job, and I am really happy about the people that are on the ballot with me: Stephanie McCaine, Midge Iorio, Town Clerk Allie Whalen, Justice Jody Kimmel. So yeah, it's going to be it's very exciting to have such good people wanting to serve. And
It's a Yeah, it's a great slate and a great team. And
yes.
And so 4 years ago, actually, if we could take a minute to go in the Wayback Machine, do you remember what issues instigated you to run? And then I'd love to know like how those issues have changed and evolved, which have been completed, and what's still outstanding for a new term.
Well, I was on the town board. It was COVID, and Chris Burdick went on to the state assembly, and I wanted to run for supervisor because there was so much opportunity to bring more vibrancy and more community engagement to our town. I mean, obviously after COVID, but even before that, in the years leading up to that time, there was, the possibility of closing an elementary school in Bedford because more people weren't moving to Bedford. It was getting older and older, and there wasn't a lot of change. And I think the pandemic brought a lot of people here, but I was motivated by the idea that we don't want that to happen again. We need more vibrancy in our hamlets, more people getting involved, more people expressing what they want and how they want to live here. And we were hearing a lot about more walkability, more bikeability, more just businesses and things happening, people gathering places for people to go. And I think at the same time, retail is kind of challenged by the internet and deliveries. And so there's this shift going on that we're not sure where our community gathering places are going to be. But we had sewers coming in that was infrastructure to shepherd through and get done. We had a need for clean water in Bedford Village that we're working on. We've now found the locations for new wells that are getting drilled for that. So more capacity for water. There are, there's still challenges for parking and things, but I think the vibrancy and the community excitement about being together and engaging and really just making our town and the quality of life here wonderful, but also future-proof, so that it stays resilient and it stays a great place to live. And I think that's something that I know I've worked with Midge Iorio before and Stephanie on the town board and as supervisor, and they both know the complexities of getting things done in our town. And it means that you want change, but you also need to make sure that it's being done right so that it stays beautiful and, it's a friendly place and it's a resilient place as well.
And so one question on that, like, so you have like so many priorities, some of which you've kind of made significant progress on. There are some that are still in flight. Is there like one white whale in particular that you want to land in this next term? Something that you've been working on for a while?
Oh gosh, there's a lot I've been working on for a while. I think there are a lot of things in flight right now. I think everything requires community engagement.
Yeah.
And everything gets shaped by that process. And so, I first came in and there was a lawsuit against the town about cell towers. We had been trying to site a cell tower for 7 years and it just kept getting proposed in different neighborhoods and nobody wanted it. And we just tackled it head on to find the least intrusive place. And the first place wasn't right. And the second place was, and finally we found a place. Not everyone was happy with it, but it was the best we could do. And now people are really happy there's cell service in that gap, that there wasn't cell service before. Now everyone thinks that I can, I've solved all the cell service problems. And there are still, that's moving forward. We have cited a couple more places and we're continuing to work on that emergency. It really is an emergency issue to have our cell service. So we are continuing to work on that. We are continuing to see, now that there is sewer in a couple of places, we're starting to see applications where we're already zoned for housing or multifamily housing. And so to make sure that our process is followed, that our laws are in place, and that the community understands what's happening. Why are people applying for these developments? Well, because our code allows that, and there's a way to do it, and there's a way to do it that works within the vernacular of our neighborhoods and the way things look and feel. And so that's a big one. But continuing our environmental progress to protect open space and make sure that we are doing the things that make our community more resilient, but also reduce costs. Energy efficiency and electrification in the future are a resiliency point, and we want to keep doing that.
Yeah. And through all of your work, I so appreciate how you make it an inclusive process. I mean, you mentioned moving the cell tower a couple of times, and like but and that I just want to kind of point out is actually a positive in that we like you heard from the community, and like through all of these issues, I just see you and the board really want to hear diverse perspectives and try to make the best judgment based upon those perspectives and where the facts lead.
Yeah, and it's, I think my newsletter is a way that people feel connected to what's happening, but they also know they can reach out about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Any question, issue, concern, I'm happy to hear it. I'm happy. I love a new challenge when someone calls and has a problem that like, okay,
Oh, Ellen. And the last question is like, talk to me about the importance of having a good team, because so much of getting anything done successfully is about the team that you're working with, and the town board is part of that team, right?
That's right. I mean, we shouldn't all agree. We are here to do the best that we can for the people of our town. And we should be out there hearing from the advocates on all sides. I always say it takes everyone to make good decisions. And if you're out there listening, you're connected with the community, those are the partners that I want on my team who know, you don't just come in with your own idea and just get it done. Like it needs to come in with your advocates and the people who really want to see it happen. So, I know that having a town board that's connected with, not just the same people that we hear from all the time, but a broad range of community members is really important. And then to be willing to roll up their sleeves and, do the hard work of finding the right solutions.
Well, maybe we can publicly embarrass some of these team members by bringing them up and talking about them. How does that
Great.
sound? Okay. So first up, I'm going to bring on Stephanie McCaine. Stephanie has spent more than 2 decades leading in education, community engagement, and local government. As deputy supervisor for the town board, she brings a pragmatic, collaborative approach to public service focused on results, accountability, and open communication. She champions inclusive, transparent governance and policies that reflect the real needs of Bedford residents. Her priorities include strengthening infrastructure, expanding housing options, advancing sustainability, not only in preserving Bedford's natural environment, but sustaining the community spirit that defines it. As founder of Hamlet Education Group, an independent educational consulting practice based in Katona, she combines strategic leadership with a deep commitment to helping people and communities thrive. Stephanie, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. And
Should we
thank you for
bring
that lovely intro.
You're welcome. I always forget you're a small business owner, and I want to talk about that more. But let's embarrass Midge too. So let's bring her up. This is the first time I've done like a 4 square conversation. This is getting very exciting here. Midge has spent 27 years living, working, and leading in the town of Bedford. As executive director of Bedford 2030, Midge led efforts that earned Bedford recognition as a statewide leader in sustainability and climate action. As membership director for the Katona Chamber of Commerce and treasurer of the Katona Village Improvement Society, she supported local businesses, organized town hall events, and championed the arts and downtown vitality. She's worked hands-on in education as a teacher at Katona Play Care, a PTO board member, and a fundraiser for the Katona Village Library. She brings a rare combination of hands-on experience, strategic leadership, and deep-rooted relationships across all 3 hamlets. She knows how to build consensus, navigate complex issues, and take action, and she's ready to serve on the board. I thank you, Midge, for coming here and joining. And Ellen, before I let you go, can I have you actually answer one last question, which is, in getting to know Stephanie, and I know you know Midge previously, what's one characteristic that you have that the public might not know about that would make them great board members?
I think they both have a can-do attitude.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I think Midge is similarly like, how are we going to solve this problem? And we're going to keep working on it till we get it done. And, Stephanie just has a great perspective on our town. Most people don't know she grew up here and remembers, all the things that have changed and where we've been and where we're going. So she has a good vision and a good, huge just knowledge of our town.
Well, thank you so much, Ellen, for joining. I'm gonna let you go for enjoy the rest of your evening and get back out for dialing and getting ready for tomorrow.
Great. Thank you so much.
Talk soon. Okay, so now that we're alone, let's get in trouble.
Good trouble, obviously.
Good, obviously. So, Stephanie, I'd love to start with you. So, this is how many years have you been on the board so far?
So this is I'll be ending my 5th year. I was appointed my first year and then elected the year after that. So.
What was one thing that surprised you when you started serving on the board that you didn't expect?
Well, number one, the amount of time that you really have to commit.
Yeah, I know. I remember asking you that question. I
was like, they're going to tell you it's like, only this many hours, but it's really your whole life. And that's been pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
But, I think for me, it really is understanding, literally the infrastructure, getting to know the department heads and, the amount of work and energy they invest in ensuring that not only what the town board wants to move forward, but also what the residents need is attended to efficiently and, with great care. And then the final thing I would say is that, then I started understanding what a water district was or what a sewer district was. And then I started traveling and I'd see signs and I'd be like, oh my God, look at that cell tower on the ridgeline. So, yeah, that's really what kind of surprised me.
Yeah, and what have been like your passion issues while serving on the board? And
it's really just about ensuring that we are able to work for as many people as possible. And it really is all the stuff that we talked about earlier, bringing people to the table, engaging community members, ensuring that our committees and boards and, work task force have diverse people at the table, diverse voices, diverse experiences, the proper skill sets, and that we're really bringing as many people in so that we can make the best possible decisions going forward, again, for as many people as we can.
And as I understand it, each board member is kind of a liaison to different parts. And what are you liaison for?
Well, I have Parks and Rec as well as the police department. So, two of the most outward facing of all the departments, which is, I think, has been really spectacular. I mean, getting to know the police department, our officers, our detectives, our lieutenants and sergeants, as well as the chief, really has been eye-opening. I mean, we often talk about, Bedford being, one of the safest places. And, that's certainly in no small part to the police department, but also working alongside with the Rec and Parks department, understanding the challenges. Like, when I first got on the board, there was a lot of conversation about leaf blowers, but also working with the Parks department, and understanding that they need to be aligned with, town policy and being able to sort of strike the balance and ensure that we're not just moving things forward for our residents, but also and making sure that we're not making the job impossible for, our employees was really significant.
And I just want to call out, and I know in many other Bedford families and many other families across the district in their own towns really benefit from so many of these wonderful community events that their towns put on, and Bedford certainly does. It's just been an amazing experience living here over the past 6-7 years, just to see those events, participate in them, like how important they are to building community, from like the summer camps to the full festivities, funtivities.
Yes.
Yeah.
They put a lot of effort into them. And, you would think that we had a really big staff given the amount of, events that they support, that they put on. But, it's really just a small group of people who are really incredibly dedicated and able
Mm-hmm.
to engage with community partners and various organizations to ensure that we can pull off these events and have that vibrancy in our community.
And Midge, like, which event in particular has been your personal favorite year after year?
Well, I for a
if you
town
had to pick one,
I would say, gosh, I love the Trifesta. I think
it's so much fun.
that's been I think it's been 3 or 4 years, and I'm proud to say that Bedford 2030's had a zero waste station at that every year. And a personal fun fact about me is running the waste station is one of my all-time favorite things. Gosh, I love the Herb Festival to the new music festival is great, and I'd have to say the Bedford 2030 Earth Day Festival is another personal favorite, and and all of these are whether it's a town event or an event I've done as Bedford 2030 or KVIS. The opportunity to collaborate with the town and other organizations is what makes these events special. And I think, makes them kind of grow year after year and have a huge community fan base.
Yeah, and as I've gotten to know you, I mean, I think that's like kind of one of your superpowers, being able to bring people together, to collaborate, to help to realize some really cool things in ways that you might not think otherwise possible. So tell me a little bit about like your genesis for when you decided, I'm going to put my name out there to run for the town board because I think I can contribute. What started that?
Well, I guess I'll answer that by saying I feel like I've been on a 27-year journey to get to this point. As you gave me that lovely introduction, it really has been a priority and sort of a passion of mine to serve the community in lots of different capacities. And I do truly love this community. And I do think it's sort of an amazing place with so many different kinds of people and sort of a spirit of, if we have an opportunity, we're going to seize on it. If we're going to be the first town to address climate change in all of New York State, we're going to do it. And I think I've kind of learned from the Bedford spirit and just been inspired by the can-do spirit of this community. And so I am just so excited to have my next chapter of serving community and, tackling challenges and opportunities and, making Bedford stronger, cleaner, more inclusive, to be on the town board. I will say that I think through my experiences, I've probably been to 100 town board meetings at least. So I actually do know what I'm getting.
Oh, no.
I started sort of thinking they were boring, and through the years, just really appreciate, all of the activity and issues and everything that's behind what happens at those meetings.
Yeah.
So
there's so much, and it's so intricate. And as you guys have been, I mean, because it's not just about the issues that drove you to decide to run. It's been, I know that you're also fueled by so many of the concerns of the community members you've been talking to over the months as you've been going neighborhood to neighborhood. What have you been hearing as kind of common themes of concern? Like Midge, I'd love your thoughts. And then Stephanie, like what have you been hearing from folks living in Bedford that are keeping them up at night?
So I'll tell you, a huge theme across all the hamlets is actually issues around mobility. There's a lot of issue around, traffic and road conditions, safety for pedestrians, for bikers, for drivers,
runners,
parking in our business districts. Everyone, has issues around that. And then at the same time, I think Ellen touched on this. There's a lot of interest in walkability, bikeability, paving the way for electric vehicles, really affordable commuting options. So that to me is sort of the biggest issue. I've heard a lot of issues, but that's really and something I'm super interested in. I think this is in our comprehensive plan is there's a study called a complete street study that we could do that would actually be an opportunity to really come up with a plan for mobility going forward.
Absolutely. If anyone hasn't seen that comprehensive plan, it's comprehensive. Stephanie, like what have you been hearing as you've been going across the district?
Well, first of all, I'm going to celebrate the good news. I think generally speaking, people are very happy with the way things are going in our towns. There's growth, there's energy, there's vibrancy, there's connection. And it's really nice to hear that those things that we've been aiming for are being realized by people. But of course, there's also housing and concern around, what does it mean when we talk about affordable housing? What does it mean when we talk about attainable housing? Are we, we're leaning towards overdevelopment. People are concerned that, we're just going to like wipe out our zoning laws and just become their biggest nightmare. And I invite people to have earnest conversations, and I appreciate those concerns for sure. But that is not at all what we're aiming for, and we are really hoping to engage people and educate people over the next year or so that we can really create options for people who want them, because there are also the people who are not like, oh my God, I don't want that. They're the people who are like, oh my God, that would be amazing. I would love to age in place. I would love for my kids to move back here, and I could hang with my grandchildren and things like that. So I think it's really, bringing those conversations to the forefront, and I'm looking forward to, doing that going forward.
Absolutely. I think that's something we're hearing not only in Bedford, but in so many communities across the Hudson Valley. This idea of keeping families in place, like allowing folks to kind of raise their families here and stay here and age here and have their kids be able to afford to come back here and have the housing options, the transportation options to do so, to create that type of resilient, vibrant, sustainable community that I think Ellen was alluding to at the start.
Yes.
Yeah. So how are you guys running for re-election and election best qualified to address some of these issues? Stephanie, I'll start with you, then I'll go to Midge.
Sure. I mean, I definitely think it's really about the now. Like, I might not have been qualified for some things in the past, and I have no idea if I'd fit in the future, but I think I'm really well suited for the now. I have the, sort of institutional history, right? Like, I grew up here. This is my home. I'm as invested as anybody could ever be. But I also appreciate where we've been, and that some of this is cyclical, right? This is not the first time we've faced some of these issues and concerns, whether it's growth or development or walkability. I mean, it used to be a lot of dirt roads, like a lot more than you think. So I've seen change, and I think I'm able to bring that to the table and share that, and sort of alleviate some of those concerns. But as a person, I'm and a professional, I'm a very analytical, pragmatic person. I don't get overly excited about, controversy. I want to dig in and see what we can do to fix the problem. And again, I have the experience. I've been on the board for almost 5 years. I've worked really hard alongside the other town board members to bring us to where we are, whether it's around infrastructure, supporting the development of that comprehensive plan, which is extremely comprehensive, as you said, building up that vibrancy, ensuring that we have the right people in the right places. And I want to continue that work. I have that passion, I have that drive, and I have that history. So I think that for this moment, for where Bedford is, I think I am an ideal candidate.
Midge, jumping into the fray.
Okay, so I don't quite know all the things that Stephanie said surprised her, so I guess I have to learn what a water district is, those things. But I do have a track record of getting things done in this community. From helping to get measurable reductions in greenhouse gas emissions to establishing some beloved programs like the Tioli Shed and community composting, where I hope everyone is participating. I have collaborated with this town board. I've worked with Ellen, and I've worked on, a lot of projects with this town board. Also have collaborated with, I know, all of the department heads, and have helped to get some grants for charging stations and bike shelters. And I do have a really deep community network, whether it's, friends and neighbors, businesses, local organizations. As a person, I am, highly collaborative. I think I'm a great consensus builder. I also can have an opinion and, agree with what Ellen said, that we all, the way we work together is not always agreeing, but, having a strong opinion and a strong reason for that. So that is something that I will bring to the table. I'm a great listener. I love a challenge. I am, if I can fight climate change, I can take any challenge.
And taking on the world. Yeah.
And I just would also say, I'm incredibly dedicated and hardworking person, and I am going to do this job. I'm going to be,
attest to that.
You can count on me to come to those meetings prepared, having read this stuff, and that's something when I vote for a town board member, what I think about, is that person going to really do this job? So I commit, I'm going to do the job.
Well, I don't get to say this too often with I don't get to say this at all yet with our congressional candidates, but I hope you win, and I voted for both of you, and I really wish you all the luck in the world tomorrow on election day. And before I ask a question about what you're hoping for viewers on election day, I have another small question for each of you. As you've been campaigning with each other on the campaign trail, what's one thing that you learned about the other person that you didn't know prior to campaigning with them? And Stephanie, I'll start with you first.
Well, I don't know. What I learned about you, Midge? I mean, listen, I'm going to just tell you my favorite thing about Midge is that Midge and I went to the same college. Like, that's really all that matters. Yeah, that's my favorite thing about her. Yeah.
Community connections right there. And
Midge.
I mean, I didn't really know Stephanie that well. And I guess if I was going to pick one thing that I'd want to learn from Stephanie is she is so calm all the time and just great with people. And I just really admire that about you. And I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. I'm excited to work with you as well.
I second that. And so tomorrow, we're finally here, guys. For 2025, we're at Election Day. What is the message you want people to take back with them tonight as they're getting ready and thinking about their plans tomorrow? Stephanie?
Don't stay home because you think it's like a done deal, a fait accompli. Go out and vote, because this is your opportunity to make us accountable to you. This is a two-way street. This is not just about you saying, yeah, I like you and you're great. It's really also, this is what I want. This is where I want our community to go forward. I trust you with that, and I'm going to hold you accountable to it. So, get out and vote.
Yeah. Midge, anything to add?
I second that. I would add just vote, vote, vote. And when you vote, be sure to turn over the ballot. There's 2 referendums, one for our amazing, I'm going to be a shameless fan of our local libraries, and one that will preserve. It's a New York State referendum, 2,500 acres of open space in the Adirondacks, which has a very interesting backstory to it, but I don't know if we have time to go through that. I look forward to, after you vote, give me a call and let's talk and let's make Bedford better.
Yeah, well, thank you, Stephanie and Midge, for making Bedford better. And also thank you for running. This is the fabric of what America is. Like, democracy is with us as we use it and exercise it. And I just so appreciate you being willing to dedicate parts of your life to actually serve and serve the rest of us, your friends and neighbors, even if we don't agree at times. I so appreciate you always listening to us. So thank you for running.
Of course. Okay. And thank you for, giving us this opportunity, to share a little bit about, what we want, why we think we're qualified, and where we hope to go.
Okay. Sounds good, you guys. Good luck tomorrow.
Happy Election Day, everybody.
Happy Election Day. So with that, we've heard from some of our Bedford slate, and I want to tell you something. So it's 6:36 at night, which is really 7:36, but we feel like we're wizards and we can change the time here. I lied to you. This is not the last local spotlight that we're doing. I'm sorry I lied to you, but we're going to do one more. Tomorrow from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, we are going to get out the vote with a live stream with guest speakers from across New York 17 at all levels. Stay tuned to your social media tomorrow morning. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be pretty be crazy. I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll find out together. 6 p.m. tomorrow to 7 p.m. And I have one last request from all of you who are watching. It's not just about you voting. Remind your spouse, remind your family, remind your neighbors, remind your guy who who makes Thai food for us every Friday night. This is an election year, and these elections are of incredible importance. And the more we participate in the democracy, the more we see our communities and our nation look more like we want it to. As always, it is such a pleasure to get to talk to so many of our local leaders, our regional leaders on your behalf. I hope you found this useful and valuable, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.